Before I get into the intelligence shit, let's take a look at some of my rejections from my best friend Tanya. I'm trying to play cards. We want to come play, or they at home. Want to play cards today? She's sick. Do you remember who I am? Because we're best friends and we haven't hung out in a week. I kinda miss her, and she hasn't replied still, so I'm a bit worried there. Maybe my best friend has just ditched me? Probably not. Probably not. She's just probably too busy to look at text, but anyways. That's a rejection. You invite your friend to something, and they said, I can't make it for various reasons. But how do you know if they actually can't make it, or they just have something better to do? And instead of telling you that, they just be polite and sugarcoat it. And they say, I can't make it. Actually, they just don't want to hang out with you. I'm sure that's not the case with Tanya. I'm pretty sure, but a lot of people in your life that are less close to you, yeah, they have better things to do than to hang out with you. Approach anxiety, social anxiety. It arises as a horrible feeling that almost paralyzes you. It freezes your legs to stop you from moving. It makes you sweat so you look stupid and naive. It makes you look like the little introvert that you are, that I am. Whenever the thought of approaching someone comes up, and especially for me, especially approaching a hot girl, right? Someone who you might want to have a relationship with, someone that you're interested, not for any dirty reasons, just because, hey, I like beautiful people, I think you do too. But the thought of them saying, no thank you, or even worse, who are you? Get out of here. I'm not talking to someone like you. The imagination of such a scenario happening ever occurred in your head? That someone may just violently shove you off, cause their boyfriend to kick you out for God's sake. Right? It's never happened in the hundreds of approaches I did. But it's always a possibility. In my head. In my imagination. And damn, it is scary to think that just by approaching people, they could misunderstand it as you hitting on them, as you being desperate to seek their attention, to have them like you. You're not doing that. You just want to make some friends. Or, hell, not even making friends. Just having some fun, right? I see a stranger who's not occupied with something. I don't want to bother people. Let's be very clear. Before we talk about anxiety, we shouldn't bother people in public, right? If you can visibly tell with your little head, with your little intelligence, that someone is busy with something, that you approaching them will not make their day better, then just don't, right? Don't make a fool of yourself. Don't take up other people's time. Don't be a bad person to society, right? But the anxiety, man, I can sit here and complain it all day. I can describe the horrible feeling I feel, but how do we beat it, Carson? How do we beat it? How do we somehow live one day without social anxiety, so we're free to approach anyone we like, because that will bring us an infinite amount of friends if we aren't so afraid of trying, right? But the fear is real, because the negative consequences are also real. I'm going to bring this hard truth out. You fear approaching people. You have social anxiety because it can actually be very bad for you. Even if you approach someone with good intent, they might not take it that way and think that you're weird, think you're creepy, run away from you, visibly back off. when you approach them. Happens every day to me. Or once in a while. So the fear is real because what's in your head, the bad imaginations, those are real possibilities. You're not fooling yourself. Or even if you are, because most interactions are not going to be like that. Most people are not going to be rude to you. If they want to reject you, they'll do it politely. Says, I got to go somewhere. Or I have a meeting starting, so I can't talk to you now. Those rejections, while if you haven't done any approaches, those will sting like a bee. But after you do it in a while, those soft rejections don't really matter. You feel the hard ones, to shove you off or call their boyfriend to get you out. Those kind of things, they never happen. Trust me. We don't... So, sorry. First time making a video. So, you know that rejections are okay, right? We all know it. Everyone gets rejected. If you are approaching people, of course you'll get rejected. Let me think. Without rejections, we'll never have any opportunities. Rejection is normal. Rejection is healthy. Or whatever bullshit we convince ourselves, true or not. But it doesn't stop us from fearing an approach. The logical understanding that getting rejected is okay doesn't stop us from fearing it. Because our head gets it, but our body doesn't. Our emotions will sprung out like a spring the first time we get rejected. You're gonna start to cry. Tears are gonna start coming out of my eyes. Because I'm saying this because it actually happened to me in my first in-person rejections. I kind of said, okay, well, bye. And I ran like 10 feet apart. Water started coming out of my eyes. The emotional responses are great. I'm an international student, by the way. And after 6 years of living in the US, I can't speak English properly. But let's try this, shall we? Because I have something good to share with you. Yes. Rejections. We fear it because it's real, it's painful. The only way to beat it, not by making money, not by looking cool on social media, not by eating clean, not by not watching porn, not by being some high-value man. They're great. They solve other issues. But they don't solve social anxiety. I had social anxiety when I was playing video games all day. And I had social anxiety, the same amount of anxiety, when I started eating clean, when I quit video games, when I quit porn. Because those do not solve social anxiety, they solve other issues. The only thing that will solve your social anxiety is for you to actually, in real life, with no filters, go up to someone, take up some of their time, with the risk of them not liking you, of them shoving you off violently, which never happened. With all the considerations, approach someone and start a conversation. I know I'm swallowing my spit as I'm saying this. It's so scary, right? Even though I've done this hundreds of times, I do approaches every day. Still, the thought of it kind of terrifies me. But you beat it by actually approaching people. The first one's gonna suck. The first rejection's gonna suck so bad that you wish you aren't alive. But the pain isn't permanent. You think that rejections will traumatize you for life, that you'll remember it. It'll be a core memory if you've seen that movie. But what I'm telling you is, yes, it will. The first rejection will traumatize you for life. You'll remember it as crystal clear as it happened yesterday. Mine happened 3 years ago, and I still remember every detail. I was texting a girl. It's not even a real in-person rejection. I texted, hey, want to take me to IHOP to try some of the pancakes there? And she said very politely, hey, I can't, sorry. I started crying after it. I felt horrible. I didn't want to eat for hours, for the entire afternoon till dinner. And the next morning when I woke up, the first thing I thought about was that horrible, horrible feeling of rejection. But bad feelings pass away. They're not permanent. You remember it, but they're not going to affect you forever. At most a couple of days, depend on how well you take it. After about 5 rejections, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And you'll have the freedom that you always wanted. And you'll see that not having a lot of social anxieties doesn't really change you. It's not some magical pill that will solve your social problems. There's a lot that comes in being cool, in being a cool guy, being a cool girl. Because let's think for a second. If you are indeed a cool guy, everyone thinks that you're a cool guy, then you will probably not really get rejected. Because who would be rude to a cool person? Who would not want a cool person to be their life, to be in their lives, be their friends? Unless they're busy, unless you are approaching them at inappropriate times. And even if they want to reject you, it wouldn't be harsh. It wouldn't be a harsh rejection ever, because who would be harsh to a cool guy? They would just be very polite, say, I gotta do something, find some excuses. And those doesn't hurt, because you've done the work of approaching people. But, my dear, if I want to leave you with something, really, is that a cool guy approaches people despite his fear. He knows that he's greater than his fear, and he knows that sometimes fear is necessary to get him forward. So yes, the first rejection is gonna suck. The first time you approach someone to start a conversation out of the blue, giving yourself permission because you told yourself to do so, it's gonna suck. But you do it. You do it not because of all the positive after effect. You do it because you want to play a game with yourself. You want to say that you're better than your fears. You want to insert the bolt into your heart yourself. Take the fall so that it doesn't hang there and rule over you for your entire life, because you imagine that you are some perfect person that never gets rejected. You think that you are a perfect 10 out of 10, that your ego is pumping you up, and that you will never get rejected. But actually, you do that by never approaching people. You do that by being the little introvert meme where you get adopted by extrovert. That's not a good life, man, because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, okay? If you have no value, even if some extrovert were to adopt you, they will not want to stay around. Because are you fun? Are you carefree? Can you take rejection? Can you make friends by yourself? Those are very important measures on how cool you are. And a cool guy doesn't get rejected. A cool guy gets all the friends. To be a cool guy, just do the approach, okay? It's not a big deal. I believe in you. You've listened to me for 14 minutes. I thank you for it. It's been very dear to me to make this YouTube video. I'm gonna keep making more. But that's it for today. I'm tired. Thank you for listening.